What is the limit to human age?
Imagine if you could turn back the clock to reverse aging.
Can you actually reverse aging?
Life expectancy rates in the U.S. have increased for the first time in years.
Life expectancy rose in the United States last year.
Longevity medicine is the business of helping people live healthier, longer lives.
Longevity is near, and I would like to talk with you about what it means for us.
Well, today, for every year that you're alive, science is extending your lifespan for about an additional quarter to a third of a year. The question ultimately is, when are we going to reach this thing called longevity escape velocity?
I've recently been fascinated with the idea of longevity escape velocity. Eventually, we'll reach a point where life expectancy will increase by more than a year each year.
I think we are probably only a few decades away from reaching this point that I've called longevity escape velocity, where we are able to keep people indefinitely in a youthful state of health, a state of physical and mental function that is just the same as young adults today.
You may never have to face the end of your life expectancy. Now, while I think this is quite science fiction, the idea of living forever, I actually think that worst case scenario, I'll live to be at least 120. For my base case scenario, I think I could easily live up to 200 years. And in my bull case scenario, I think I could easily live up to 1,000 years old. That's a crazy thing to think, but you already have experts in the field of life expectancy and longevity saying things like the first 1,000-year-old human may have already been born. Others predict we could achieve longevity escape velocity as early as 2029. Others think it could be in the next decade, and even still others in the next few decades after that. However, the idea of longevity escape velocity could be achieved at a high likelihood this century. The general consensus is that aging is an engineering problem rather than a biological inevitability. If you look at charts like this beautiful chart from Our World in Data, it shows an amazing trend for human life expectancy, one that is up and to the right. It doesn't take much imagination to continue this trend out and to see humans live hundreds of years. Here are some of the current areas of research that are showing some promise in increasing longevity. I'm not a biologist, so these are going to be simplified explanations. The first one is telomerase activators. Imagine your DNA is like shoelaces and the plastic tips are telomeres. Every time your cell divides, those tips get worn down. When they get worn down too much, the cell can no longer divide, and that's one way we age. Scientists discovered an enzyme called telomerase that has the potential to re-lengthen the telomeres at the end of your DNA. Another area of research is xenomorphic agents. As we get older, some of our cells stop dividing but don't die. They just hang around and send out toxic messages that hurt healthy cells. The old plan was to destroy them, but scientists may be finding out a way to rehabilitate them instead. Certain drugs like metformin are leading the charge. Big trials like the TAME study is testing whether or not this new approach can help add better, healthier, and longer years. The last area of research we're going to look at is rejuvenation through mRNA and gene therapies. Think of your cells like old computers, getting glitchy and slow. And the idea of these therapies are to reprogram them, install the new software on them so that they are young again. The idea behind mRNA and gene therapy is to send special instructions like Yamanaka factors to reverse aging processes in the cell without erasing their identity. Right now, it's mostly happening in labs, but if we can crack this, we won't even just slow aging, we'll be able to actually reverse it potentially. On top of the three areas I just covered, there are tons of areas of researching showing promise to increase longevity and the number of healthy years we have as well. This brings up a very, very important question. Are you prepared to live for another century from today? Perhaps even another 1,000 years? Are you gonna have to work that whole time just to survive? If what these experts are predicting is true, this means one thing is more important than ever. That one thing is investing. Compounding is already a crazy factor, even through the normal lifespan of a human today. Compounding over 60, 80 years can result in numbers that are absolutely crazy. Now, you just add another 100 years on top of that, the numbers get absolutely mind-boggling. And another century onto that, incomprehensible. There's also the aspect that these kind of technological, scientific solutions to aging may be very expensive, which means you will only get to participate in them if you have the capital to do so. Meaning investing could be even more important for your life expectancy than you realize. Understanding that you could live for another 100, 200 years also gives you a completely different time horizon if you're already into investing. Most investors are looking at the next couple of months, perhaps couple quarters at most. And this yields short-term thinking, which yields short-term results. For someone who understands the amazing time horizon that we can truly invest over, it allows you to make way bigger bets on massive long-term secular trends that can yield incredible returns over your incredibly long life. Here at How to Invest, we take a very, very long approach to our investments. That's why we love companies like Lemonade Insurance. This company is incredible and has a story that could last many, many decades, if not centuries. If you're intrigued investing more than ever, now that you realize how long you could truly live and benefit from these types of investments, and you're looking for companies that you can invest in over incredibly long time horizons, I highly recommend watching our deep dive into Lemonade, Tesla, and HIMS here. And if you are more interested just in general and on how to invest and underwrite your own opinions on which companies are great to invest in, you can watch this video here. Thank you for watching, hit like and subscribe. Epic!